Welcome to the Prophecy Club. I've got a very important program for you today. We're talking about the big topic that everything is talking about these days, Israel and Iran. Is this the start? Is this something minor that's just going to pass over? I'm going to say I don't think it's the big one, but I do think it is possible it could turn into something very, very big. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I need your help. This is straight out of our bank account. These are our balances as of this very instant. So as you can see, we're in a jam. And if God has blessed you and you can help us, we would really appreciate it right now. Also, I got an email a couple of days ago from EMPShield.com. They were running a one-day special. And I said, well, I can't get that out of my people that fast. I mean, I make a program one day, it airs the next day. So they said, you know what? Prophecy Club been a big supporter of ours. We're going to help them. So here's what they did. They gave us a special 1 week, an entire week, not just a few hours, but an entire week. And here's what they're doing. Upon checkout, you will not only get the normal $50 off of each item, but now you're going to enter the promo code. First promo code is Prophecy. Second promo code is Spirit. And from June 23rd to June 30th, you get an extra 10% off of everything in your cart. They've never done that before. It's a really big deal. As a matter of fact, I think we might be the only ministry out there they're doing it for. So let me say it again. Promo code Prophecy get you the normal $50 off of each item. But from June 23 to June 30th, you get an extra 10% off by putting the promo code SPIRIT. Promo code SPIRIT. So this promo code Prophecy, promo code SPIRIT. EMPShield.com. Got it? Ends June 30th, doesn't start till June 23rd. So by the time you're watching this, it will probably be going. Starts Monday. All right, so the first report here is the president has an E-4B Doomsday Plane which has landed near Washington, D.C. What's going on? Well, it is a high-altitude, nuclear-hardened airborne command center for the president. It is EMP shielded, hardened communications, and rooms for dozens of people designed to maintain continuity of government in a war situation. Last time this was brought forth was September 11, 2001. So when this plane comes out, something big might be happening. Now, remember, I'm going to cover this quick. This is back 1984. Remember, the angel spoke to Dimitri, said, and this is talking about Israel, I bless this country, meaning America here, because of the Jews that are here. I have 7 million Jews here. They haven't tasted war persecution. God has blessed them more than anyone else, but instead of thanking God, they started sinning and doing wickedly. Their sins have reached the Holy One. God decides to punish them with fire, meaning the Jews here in America. Israel doesn't recognize the Messiah. Now we're talking about Israel. Because they place their trust on the power of the Jews in America, but when God will hit America, all the nations will be terrified. All the nations with the Russians as the leader go down to attack Israel. That's Armageddon. It's not that they want to. God makes them. Israel doesn't have the hope of Jews in America, so they cries for Jesus. He returns in the clouds. Now, the next point to make. This was Leslie Johnson. This man with high connections said, all right, Leslie, tell me your dream. I told him that Israel will give the Palestinians a state. Now, the way I see that is I don't think that this is going to be the big war with Israel and America going against most of the Arab world. I do not think. I can't guarantee, but I don't think it's going to happen according to her prophecy until there's a Palestinian state and oil is discovered in Israel. The oil gets the Jews willing to fight for the land and gives them money to build up their war machine. Now, that's the next point. Hang on, there's more. We're going to go to this one. Dimitri Dudam in 1996. After 8 days of traveling through Israel, I asked myself, why did I come here? This is land filled with wicked people. Why did I come here? After I thought this, I prayed and fell asleep. I had a dream. I saw myself and my grandsons staying in Israel on the Sea of Galilee, beautiful place. We're looking around. I noticed how nice and warm it was, a good place for vacation. At once, I heard a voice from the left side, and it said, "You didn't come here for this." In other words, not for a vacation. Look at me. I looked and saw a man dressed in white, shiny clothing. He was crying with tears running down his cheeks. "Who are you, and why do you cry?" "I'm Jesus Christ, and I'm looking over my blood relatives and my people, Israel, for whom I gave my life. Their sins have put a wall between God and themselves. God has decided to bring back all of the scattered Jews from around the nations, around the world, but instead of thanking God, watching over them, giving them safe passage, they've become more wicked than the nations that they left. I'm crying because of the tribulation that must come over Israel. They say they keep the Sabbath. They say they keep my laws. They say this, but they don't do it. And the nations of the world have their eyes on this place, thinking this is what holy looks like. But they come to seek holiness and an example in this place, but this place is not holy, but has become defiled. Because of this, God has decided to take peace from Israel. Now, this is talking about Israel. They do not trust the peace of God provides, but they seek to make their own peace. God can no longer stand their sins because of the wickedness. Look and see how punishment will come upon Israel. Now, the question we must ask ourselves, is this immediate, or is this after the Palestinian state and oil is discovered? Then I saw a cloud of airplanes, in formation from the left, Golan Heights, and from a large army coming from a corner of Yarmouk River Valley. Now, let me show you where that is. Here's a map. So you see Golan Heights and Israel, meaning that this is Israel being attacked down through Syria. Now, I don't think this is immediate. I can't guarantee it, because we have a new president in Syria that just made buddies with Trump. So right now, Israel just overthrew Syria, so that's probably not immediately happening. Probably, don't know for sure, probably this is Armageddon, or at least when Israel and America goes against most of the Arab world. But here's the point. Until they pass through hard times, they'll not recognize me as God, talking about Jesus, will not call upon me for help. Tell those who love me that I first loved them, that they will be saved. I'm the eternal one. I do not change. Everything that I've told you will come to pass. Then a lightning bolt came down in front of us. Jesus said, "Don't be afraid. You will leave this place in peace." Now let's go on to the next one. Now let's go to You Be Ready. I think this is really important. It's a vision turned to a dream turned to a vision, really. Rockets galore. This is the start. I was asleep in my bed with my wife having some difficulty sleeping, so she was silently reading on her phone. I now know that the Lord kept her awake for a reason, to be a witness and to record what was about to take place. At 12:15, I began making some movements in my sleep. After a few minutes, she could tell that at that point I was dreaming, since the movements had become quick and sharp and abrupt, lifting my arms up and down on my legs, making small, sudden, abrupt kicks. I then started making verbal sounds and noises like gasps and short, startled cries. She noted that the sounds had become louder and more distressed, like groans and cries, at the point she was debating whether to wake me up or not. It seemed to her that I was having a very distressing dream or a nightmare. Just as she was about to wake me up, she saw that I had become very still and motionless. My breathing had become quick, little short breaths. She waited, then picked up her phone and noted that the time was 12:25, and then turned it off after a minute or so, me being fairly still and quiet. She felt my hand reach over and touch her arm. I asked if she was awake, and she said yes. And I asked if it was okay. And I said, I'm seeing it. It started. She asked me, what are you seeing? What started? The war with Iran. I'm seeing it. It's happening right now before my eyes. Now, the question we got to ask ourselves again, is this the immediate war? Is this the war after the Palestinian state? Or is this Armageddon? There's 3 different wars I see in the prophecies. She said, what? You're seeing it? I exclaimed, yes. I don't know how I was just dreaming it, but now I went from being a dream to just being awake and seeing it in a vision. She says, so what are you seeing? It's so bad. It's so bad. I can't believe it. I began to cry as I started to tell her what I was seeing was happening. I cried, it's so bad. It's so bad. No, dear Lord, no. It's too much. It's night. It's dark. I'm seeing hundreds, maybe thousands of rockets flying all over the place. It's so bad. It's unbelievable. Now, you'd agree, up to this point, it looks like the last week. What's it saying? At this point, she said, I began sobbing and weeping and was overcome with great emotion as I tried to continue telling her what I was seeing. I cried, there are rockets flying everywhere. They're going in all different directions. I'm up above the Persian Gulf. I'm looking down and I see Iran, Iraq, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and some other countries. Rockets are flying all over the place, from Iran to Israel, from Israel to Iran. Okay, that part last week. From Iran to U.S. ships in the Persian Gulf. Okay. We haven't seen this yet. From Iran to the U.S. ships in the Persian Gulf, and from the ships to Iran, they're flying back and forth between the ships in the Persian Gulf. I see ships being hit. Well, that would be American ships hit. I see U.S. flags that look like they're marking U.S. base locations in Iraq, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and other places. And I'm seeing them being hit one by one, then the flag disappeared. Now, it's important, okay? Let's go back and look at this. So he sees Iran to Israel, Israel, Iran. Okay, we got that. That's the last week. Then from Iran to U.S. ships in the Persian Gulf. That we have not seen yet. And from the ships to Iran, they're flying back and forth between the ships in the Persian Gulf. So now we see Iran attacking ships in the Persian Gulf and the ships in the Persian Gulf attacking Iran. We haven't seen that. That's America being involved. The ships in the Persian Gulf, I see ships being hit. I see U.S. flags that look like they're marking U.S. base locations in Iraq, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and other places. I'm seeing them being hit one by one, then the flag disappeared. Oh, okay. Flag disappeared? Flag disappeared. Well, is that saying that our locations in the Persian Gulf, specifically Saudi Arabia, the UAE, our base locations there, are destroyed? I don't think Iran has the missiles to do that yet, unless I'm about to show you an article that says that China is making secret flights and unloading, apparently, they're saying, military equipment given to Iran. I have no prophecy saying that there's about to be nuclear use of bombs yet, but when the flag disappears, that's big. All right, hang on, let's go on. She said, I went on like this for several minutes, just weeping and sobbing and saying over and over, I can't believe it. Oh, God, no, please, help. It's so bad. No, it's too much to watch. Please, God, I can't bear to watch it anymore. Is that now? After the Palestinian state? Because I'm pretty sure it's not Armageddon. I asked the Lord to please stop it. He did, and the vision ended. After getting up and walking around a few minutes, getting a glass of water, lied back down in the bed, we prayed, and I just laid there thinking about this. Then I heard the Lord say, this is the start. Now remember that, because I want to go to another one. This is the start. The start of what? I don't want to think it's the start of the fall of America, but I can't rule that out. Now let's go to another one. Again, you be ready. 23. Ezekiel 9:9, he quotes it, land is full of blood and the city is full of perverseness. Now this is talking about Israel, but it's also talking about America. During prayer today, I had a vision from the Lord, and I saw two very large hands and arms from elbows down. The arms were held out forward, and the hands were held out and cupped close together, touching each other with the palms facing upward. The hands were holding the earth, kind of like this, okay? And it had very beautiful blue appearance and seemed to be very serene and peaceful. Suddenly, I saw the earth instantly covered in what looked like this thick, dark, dense black smoke or fog-like substance. Is that the 3 days of darkness? Substance that was not able to see through. I could no longer see any of the beautiful blue color. It was now all black. Hang on. I then began to see red spots appearing throughout the black substance in all the different places. I can tell you right up front, it's blood. In other words, we're talking about war. We're talking about a lot of wars. More and more of the red spots began to appear. They were also growing larger and spreading in size, and as I watched, the earth soon became completely covered in red or blood. And I could no longer see any more of the black substance, now only red. This red substance looks like a thick liquid. As it continued to grow and spread, it began to run into the hands that were holding of the earth. Soon the red substance spread from the hands up the arms and covered them as well. As I watched, both of the hands and the arms were now covered and began dripping with this red substance. The vision ended, and the Lord began to speak to him. So try to imagine this with blood all over it. He says, the earth is full of violence. Just as the days of Noah were, I'm bringing darkness. Is that the 3 days of darkness? I'm bringing darkness and then war. The red you saw was the earth expelling all of the blood absorbed into the ground. I'm bringing my judgments to judge the earth and the nations. My son, the blood will flow, unlike it ever has. Many weapons of war will be used. The earth will rock to and fro. I've got scripture on that. The earth will rock to and fro like a drunkard from bombs hitting their targets, to the earthquakes resulting from all the explosions. The perverse sin and degradation of this nation requires a hard hand, and I am bringing it. The wanton disregard for life by allowing legalized drugs. It didn't say illegal drugs. It says legalized drugs. You know, I checked with my doctor, and he says, well, sometimes the reason you sweat at night is because the meat that you have eaten during the day has hormones in it, and that's your body trying to expel the hormones. So our food is chock full of all sorts of garbage. Yeah, that's a whole other program, which I will skip talking about right now. Legalize drugs and starting unjust wars just to take the spoils. Oh, America wouldn't do that. Oh, yes, we have. Now let's jump to 3 scriptures that confirm what he's saying. Isaiah 24:5. They have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and at the noise of the taking of Babylon, America, the earth is moved. So what causes the earth to move back and forth is when Russia hits us with many nuclear weapons all in 1 hour. Back to what was back to the dream or the vision. America, you are judged guilty, and the penalty is death. The world has been bloodied worse by this nation than any other. A nation in perpetual war, internal chaos, a nation where every sin is exported to the world. Drugs, pornography, war, every deviant sex sin and trafficking. Who is it that makes the filthy movies, the filthy music? Who is it that makes the filthy magazines? That would be America. We export it. A nation where every abominable idol dwells, a land of blood. My son, I say, shall repent now, but sadly, most will not. I say now, turn from your wicked ways, but sadly, most will not. Repentance is far from the lips, and my judgment is just. America will burn in 1 hour. All the merchants will mourn because there will be no one to buy their products anymore. Repent now, turn from your wicked ways. This is a bloody world, and soon I will return and make all things new. Let me give you a couple of scriptures on that. Revelation 18, the whole chapter, the angel said, is speaking of America. Let me just quote another verse. Revelation 18:1, I saw another angel come down from heaven, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Now let's jump down to verse 10. For in 1 hour is that judgment come. 1 hour so great riches come to naught. 1 hour she is made desolate. Do you remember this one? I think this is real important. This is the summarized version. You be ready again. 25, summarized version. He says, today while in prayer, I heard the Lord speak these words to me. The show has begun. Okay. Do you think here in the next 2 weeks, when Trump is making his decision about whether to attack Iran, do you think that this might be the beginning of the end for America? Now, it's not the total end yet, but could it be, how do I say, the spark that lights the match that lights the gasoline? The show has begun. Then I heard a carnival barker shouting, ladies and gentlemen, come one, come all, see the greatest show on earth. Okay, what's the greatest show on earth? The greatest show on earth is between Jesus and Lucifer, between the Antichrist and the false prophet, and then the two witnesses walking up down the streets of Jerusalem. It's the great end-time battle between darkness and light. There wasn't an empty seat in the house. All seats were filled, meaning when this starts, the rapture will not have come yet. All three, there were 3 rings. A large ring in the center, clowns were amusing the crowd. A small ring with a bear, or Russia, riding a red bicycle, and a large leopard, that's the Muslims, jumping on crates, and a parrot, meaning in the last days, your Arabs and the Russians are going to be fighting against us. I can show you many times in the scriptures where that's true. In the large ring was the ringmaster, or Jesus angel, with the U.S. Constitution, meaning the Constitution is about to go away. This might be our last free 4th of July. Okay, let's go on. The ringmaster got upset, reading the Constitution, ripping pages out of it, and setting them on fire. The clowns hosed it down with gasoline, meaning this is saying that the Constitution, and several other ones, saying the Constitution is going away. The clowns hosed it down with gasoline. The bear knocked the book out of the ringmaster's hand. The parrot was people who just repeated what they heard. A lot of the people that are going out and protesting right now, you've seen it. Someone with a microphone steps up and says, well, what does the phrase mean? Between the river and the sea, we will be free. Well, I don't know. They just told us to say it. They're parrots. They don't understand what's going on. They're stupid. They're uninformed. They are paid to go out there and cause trouble, and they're happy to do it. All people in the audience cheered, thinking it was just part of the show. Then there were 3 computer monitors mesmerizing the people. The first monitor had scenes of war without bombs. The second had war with bombs exploding and fires burning. The third was people running for their lives. Now, hang on. Doesn't that give us a big hint? What's it saying? The first monitor had scenes of war without bombs. Isn't that what we've seen up until about a week ago? Okay, we've seen war. It's a war of words. But about a week ago, now there started being bombs. Iran, Israel, back and forth. Now you could say, yeah, well, it's kind of been going on with Yemen and also with Syria. And there have been some missiles fired at American ships. Yeah, okay, but that's not the big thing. But the second war is war with bombs. The whole point here is the show has begun. Isn't this really saying that when the bombs start flying, and I'm not talking about just this little skirmishes between Yemen and Israel and things like that, but I'm talking about when America gets involved, is that the beginning of the end for our nation? Because that's kind of what 2 of these prophecies are saying. It's not the end immediately, but it's the beginning of the end. Let me go on. First monitor, war without war without bombs. Then wars with bombs exploding, fires burning, people running for their lives. Then the ringmaster destroyed them all. Then the whole tent went completely black. That's not the 3 days of darkness. That's the sun going out, which is about 3 days before Armageddon. Suddenly, a blinding light filled the tent with light from above. That's the morning star. All of this is a perfect overview, my understanding, my opinion, of really the last 7 years. I mean, all of this could fit in 7 years. It might even could all fit in the last 3.5 years. Okay, so anyway, so here we are. The time that Prophecy Club needs to be listened to, probably more than any other, and we're in the biggest financial bind we've been in a long time. So many people have said, we don't want to hear none of that negative prophecy stuff anymore. Trump's going to fix everything. So our donations have they've just almost stopped. So if God has blessed you and you can help, let me just tell you, when you help a ministry like ours, you're going to get really blessed. And we need it. You saw the bank balances. That's not a joke. I can pull you right over and show you. That's exactly what it is. It's about to hit red, and there is nothing. I do not have any money, any place to cover it with. So if you can help, God has blessed you. We would really appreciate it. Hello, I'm Stan.
And I'm Leslie Johnson.
And we want to invite you to the PHD, the Prophecy, Healing, and Deliverance Conference.
So I hope you'll come from September the 11th through the 14th.
We have 6 seasoned ministers, 10 sessions, 2.5 days. I'm going to be speaking on Mark of the Beast, dangers of AI, and the new timing of the rapture.
And I'm going to speak on how to get ahead spiritually, close those spiritual doors, and the role of the prophet.
Lou and Sunhee Deliverance Ministries are going to be speaking on healing childhood experiences, what is eating you, spirit of infirmity, and yes, they will be doing deliverances.
Yes. And then Pastor Kate and Jonathan will be speaking on relationships.
It's limited to 100 registrations, so go to prophecyclub.com, get signed up, or
traintheprophets.com. We hope to see you there.
If you don't want to lose your life's savings, if you have an IRA or a 401k, the thing to do is call 800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. These folks are Christians, and they specialize in helping people not lose their life savings in the event of a stock market crash and things like that. Look, most of the 401ks, most of the IRAs are in paper, backed by paper, and as Lindsey Williams says, if it's in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. You can lose it all. 1-800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. Hey, give them a call. Doesn't hurt, doesn't cost you anything. See if they can give you some good advice.